Hi, this is Richard Blade, the voice of the 80s and KROQ Radio, Gay Rock. And you're listening to the voice of 91 Reasons, Jeff Tucker. Totally awesome.
You're listening to 91 Reasons, a journey into the twisted landscape of pop culture. Keep your hands and arms inside the podcast at all times. And now, the voice, Jeff Tucker.
How exhausted I am after an onslaught of the Boysenberry Festival at Knott's Berry Farm. I used my days off to do what? Yes, to go to WonderCon 2015 at the Anahiem Convention Center, and I have returned. I have returned to tell the tale, but I am not alone. Welcome to WonderCon 2015 version of 91 Reasons. I am the voice, Jeff Tucker. I am joined by special guest stars today. Special guest stars, go ahead.
I'm Austin.
Mom.
I'm Luna.
And we're here to take you through our journey of 3 days. 3 days of WonderCon, Anahiem Convention Center, Easter weekend, because nothing says the resurrection of Christ like people dressed up as Mario Kart. Am I right or am I right? So first thoughts, anybody want to go about first thoughts? Because we're going to just go, I've got a stack of business cards and flyers, and we're going to talk about all the people that we encountered. But Austin, you had the biggest time there because you spent it with doing what?
Hanging out at the Homestuck meetup and walking around the floor. Because, once you walk around the floor, you see the whole thing, right? And then what do? There's no good panels. Why not hang out with the same people as your fandom? You all sit around in a circle and talk about the things you love.
Yeah, and what is that, Homestuck?
Homestuck, the webcomic.
The webcomic.
Yes.
Which we're going to do episode 19 tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we have a bunch of interviews. We're going to do a bunch of interviews from WonderCon of people that were at the Homestuck meetup, right?
Yeah. And there were these people, there were Homestucks all across the con. Every 2 feet there was another person painted gray, am I right?
Yes, you are right. You are very right. It has become much stronger in the last few cons that we've gone to. It's not just 5 or 6. Now it's at least 100.
Yeah. You go outside and you're like, oh, wow, they've all gathered here. Look at all of them. Well, I had fun at the meetup. I'm going to go back in the con. Oh, there's 100 more in here. They're everywhere. There is no escaping it.
All right, so that's your initial impression of WonderCon. Luna, you want to chime in with anything here?
I don't know.
You went to the meetup.
Yeah, I went on
You walked
Sunday.
around. Mm-hmm. Anything you want to share? Riveting from a face. A shrug does not register on a podcast.
That is quite the con experience, That swag just describes it all.
How about you, Rachel? Anything you want to talk about off the bat here?
I know what you want to talk about.
My highlight was visiting the visitors table.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have that card in here.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's go through. We got there on Friday morning. We got there early enough to get parking at the convention center, which was very nice because it was just a short walk to the con.
Better than anything you could ever get at Comic-Con.
Oh, yeah, much better parking. Yeah. We were able to actually go there halfway through the day and drop everything back off at the car, which was very nice because not having a table, you either carry that stuff all day or schlep it back to the car.
But it really is becoming Comic-Con, isn't it?
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's slowly rising.
When we get to Saturday, we'll talk about how incredibly busy it was. But Friday was a slow build. It got busier and busier as the day got on. And first thing Friday, we registered for our badges. It was very painless, no problems all there. The good thing is that they had a professional sign-in area where there was no line. I mean, we were there for about 5 minutes. And right off the bat, we saw Chris Gore hanging out. And who he called us what? Do you remember what he called us? The first family of cons. Yeah. And then we saw Cody, a guy I know from one of the film companies. And it was just a lot. It was very easy to check in, very nice. And then you guys went off into the con, and I went to the Back to the Future, Back in Time documentary panel right off the bat. It started right when it opened, and it was a good way to start the con off for me. It was an hour of footage from their upcoming documentary and them talking about all these amazing people from the film they got to meet. And then afterwards, I was wearing my full Marty McFly costume, so I went up and I talked to them, and they gave me one of their business cards, which is malkamediagroup.com, and I was able to send them an email talking a little bit about my Back to the Future experiences, and then I attached a bunch of my vintage photos where I snuck onto the set and went to the premiere of Part 3 and that sort of thing. So that was a lot of fun. By the time you listen to this, their Kickstarter will have ended, so it's too late to pledge, but no worries. They raised over $120,000, which was 200% of what they wanted. So that film is going to come out, and it's going to look really nice. Another thing that happened at the Back to the Future line was I ran into a good friend of mine, Glenn, who's a big theme park guy, and Glenn gave me what, guys?
91 Reasons buttons.
91 Reasons buttons that look so nice. It was only a handful of buttons, and by the time you listen to this, they're all gone, except the single one that I have left. You can hear it. Right there it is. So I'm going to keep that and hopefully get some more so I can, at events, hand those out because they look really sharp. And they
did a really nice job on them.
And they're so striking that people did ask me what it meant because the logo is so striking and the wording so cryptic. And it's a nice way to say, I'm glad you asked. Here's what it is. And here's a card. So between Austin and Luna handing out 91 Reasons Homestuck cards and me handing out 91 Reasons Back to the Future cards, I think we must have handed out over 200 cards. So
yeah, at least.
That was very nice. So when the con opened, what did you guys do?
One to Wheel of Fine.
I took the kids to Wheel of Fine. I knew that was the booth that they wanted, and I wanted to get it done. I wanted to get them with their purchase and be done.
I wanted nothing in the world to see this booth, though, okay? I went there, and they've switched. Like, in the past few years, it's always been My Little Pony real big, Adventure Time. And when they recently got Homestuck, they would bring 1 or 2 Homestuck t-shirts. But I guess due to sales, the entire booth is now Valve and Homestuck. That is literally the best booth you could possibly have.
Oh, I know. You guys just stared at the booth for like an hour. We would constantly find ourselves back at...
In all fairness, the people remembered us from the people that run the booth. One of the owners of the booth, head guy, came right up to me and said, I remember your family from Comic-Con last year, and can I take a photo? Because we were entirely in Homestuck cosplay. Even me and Teresa, my best friend, for the kids, did Homestuck. So we were a group Homestuck walking around. So they were very impressed and wanted pictures of us in front of the booth. And we're all excited to see what we were there for, what we wanted, what was new that we were excited about.
It's odd that Wheel of Fine has Star Wars, Back to the Future, Marvel, some of the biggest brands out there. And they must know the audience, because when they came to the con, they had what? They had a DeLorean dress and some Marvel leggings. But other than that, it was this half of the booth is all Valve, this half of the booth is all Homestuck, some Adventure Time t-shirts, and that's about it.
Well, they got more of our money than anyone, so they obviously, that's our family's thing, because we went back to that booth repeatedly for everyone, including myself. I even got the Back to the Future dress.
Well, if you know how to work Wheel of Fine, the way you do it is you make single purchases, not all at once. That way you get multiple bags.
Yes, the bags are collectible.
The bags get cooler every con.
So then we just we ended up just walking the floor for a few hours. It was strange in that they put Artist Alley right near the front, so it was busy the entire con. You could not get down the Artist Alley.
It was never not busy.
Normally, like at Comic-Con, Artist Alley is way in the back, and it does a brisk business, but it's not mobbed. This time...
No, it's where you go. At Comic-Con, it's where you go when you need a break from massive crowds that you can't walk down the aisles. You go over there and look around to appreciate some people trying to get their art out there and to get the break. At this con, it was completely the opposite. You had to stay away from there because it was just too crazy to walk.
It was weird because Artist Alley was so mobbed, so insane. You couldn't just say, I'm at San Diego all over again. This has become San Diego. And then you go over to the Fox booth, right? Fox has a big setup, and they literally have benches and chairs and couches you can just sit on and relax.
Yeah, they even had charging outlets for your phone, which was very nice.
And it was empty. It was weird. Like, Fox is so empty. It's such a big company, and then Artist Alley, these independent artists, it's mobbed, and they're doing business like crazy.
Although Fox was the only major retailer there giving out any kind of giveaway.
Yeah, nice giveaway, too.
It wasn't like San Diego where you can't walk 1 foot without getting a sticker, a button, a comic, something thrown at you. It was very slim pickings at WonderCon. Only select booths gave you something.
Yeah, we only ended up with a few of the Sons of Anarchy USB lanyards, and then some Gem and the Holograms posters, and Saved by the Bell comic books. And that's really it. We came home with nothing. Other than things that we purchased. But I knew that going in. I knew that WonderCon it hasn't reached the point where the big guys are going to show up to promote their stuff. The biggest promotion there was for the big earthquake movie, San Andreas with The Rock. But since I'm not a fan of that, I didn't even go in there. I don't have any patience for that.
The line never let up. So it's like I wanted to check it out, but I didn't want to check it out bad enough to wait in the line.
Right.
And
yes.
Fox had the whole booth promoting Lost in Space.
The DVD Blu-ray release, yeah.
Do you think it was the picking of the brand that made the booth so empty? Do you think there's a lot more demand for stuff like Adventure Time fan art, Steven Universe fan art, even Homestuck stuff, more than the Lost in Space DVD set?
Well, I think at this con, yeah, because this con almost caters to just fringe.
Yeah.
It's all fringe stuff. It's not the main marketing push for these things. The biggest panels there were, I think, Gotham and Last Man on Earth,
which is just fringe.
Well, it's just TV show stuff.
Yeah.
It's not like a big movie, because in 2 weeks the same space is going to be occupied by Star Wars Celebration. So Star Wars had zero presence there. They don't need it. Disney has D23 coming up. They don't need it. Comic-Con is coming up. They don't need to spend a lot of money to go to WonderCon. But that doesn't stop WonderCon from being fun, immersive, and with lots to see and do.
I prefer the fringe stuff more than the main media, so I liked it a lot. Most of the time, WonderCon is a better experience than San Diego, because it's just more of the stuff I love and a lot less of the crowds. The security guards aren't as pussy because there's not literal riots going on.
Yeah, they let you stop and stand around and take breaks and sit on the wall, and you never get away with that at Comic-Con.
WonderCon also has multiple food places within the convention hall, which San Diego just doesn't have room for. They have a few, but they're like, get it and keep moving.
Although, according to Aaron, you can't sit on the glass wall upstairs.
Right.
And there's never going to be a panic over something where it's literally going to result in firefighters coming to the Lego booth because of too many people literally fighting for a Lego minifigure.
Right. No,
that type of stuff is never going to happen.
There's nothing like that there.
Yeah.
So, the first day, Rachel and Teresa went to this booth, Elsa's Creations, and how much did you drop there on it?
Well, that was the first day. The first day, Teresa, I think she bought a couple dresses and a couple purses, and Josie got a little Pokemon purse that holds her Nook, her pad tablet in. I have seen Elsa before. She's a regular spot at Frankenstein's. She has really cool handmade, definitely girly stuff. It's everything from dresses to hair bows, the typical handmade stuff, but she gets the greatest fabrics, and her prices are really reasonable. And yeah, I wanted everything there. I actually bought a purse, Universal Monsters purse from her this weekend, because it had Frankenstein nice and big on it, and he's one of my faves. And Teresa spent a lot in dresses. So yeah, we spent a lot there. She's a nice woman. You
can check her out at Frankenson's booth 711 or on Etsy at SEW Elsa's Creations. So we told her we would give her a plug on the show.
Yes.
So then we went to lunch at Coco's, and
let me just say.
Oh, sorry.
These are the best chicken strips you will ever have.
We're at the chicken strip.
Yes.
I wasn't impressed with their salad. It was way too leafy.
Just get the chicken strips. These are the best, premium, fanciest chicken strips you will ever have.
Oh, hamburgers were okay.
Here's what I'm going to tell you right now. if you're gonna go to Coco's and get chicken strips, you don't get it at a con. You're supposed to only eat lightly at a con. I was more happy with my tiny taco on Sunday.
He's gonna get into the fact that he's sick.
Because you don't want to end up eating 5 chicken strips at a con.
All right, that's enough on that subject.
What was funny was they sat us right by the front, so we had a full view of the street of all the people walking by. And then halfway through lunch, a girl dressed as Elektra from Marvel Comics sat next to us. And, like, she was 80% naked. So it was very distracting while we're eating. And then I realized that the guy sitting next to her was Corey Rouse, a guy that used to work at Disneyland, worked on the original Cheaters show on G4. And it's one of those things where you just run into people all day. There was a recurring theme of I would stand somewhere or talk to somebody, and then people would just know who I was.
Ted guy.
Yeah, I walked up to a guy dressed as Ted from Bill and Ted and asked if I could get a picture, and he knew right away who I was, so it was interesting. So then we went back after lunch, we hung out, we talked to the Homestucks at the meetup, and I recorded a lot of audio, which you'll hear on the next show. And then we decided to close the night off by going to Chris Gore's panel up on the second floor. And this was a panel that was originally supposed to be about reading fan fiction and then talking about it. But due to a handful of Twitter people who got all twisted up that Chris was going to make fun of what they do, WonderCon shut the whole thing down, and he had to come up with another topic. And what ended up happening was he opened the floor by talking about why they were shut down on the fan fiction topic. And Adrian Curry, who was on the panel, said that the reason they were shut down was that a couple of douchebags on Twitter decided to open their mouths. And that's when a woman out of the crowd said, I'm one of those douchebags. And an argument started, and it went on for about 40 minutes between somebody in the audience and the entire panel. And I'll tell you, it was riveting. I could not look away.
It was fascinating.
Yeah, it was an interesting dynamic of this woman who, to us, seemed really angry and a little bit sad, and she probably had been bullied in school, and here she was at a convention being the bully, but she couldn't see that part of it. She couldn't see that what she was doing by shutting that panel down was being the bully, and it was fascinating.
The whole panel, when they finally did move on from the argument before it continued on later, she was angrily texting and tweeting the whole thing live how horrible they were.
Yeah, I'd love to know what her Twitter handle was just so I could have read what she said. But, it was very interesting. And then Chris gave me the final word from the audience, and I said simply, it was interesting how people who write fan fiction, who are using somebody else's characters and putting them in their own situations, somehow have ownership over those characters and are telling a third party how they can or cannot use those characters when they themselves have no legal right to use those characters. I'm all for fan fiction, but when the people who write the fan fiction start to feel some sort of ownership over the characters, that's a little scary.
Because they're taking control of your characters.
Yeah, you don't own those characters. It's just come up with your own characters. If you're going to do 50 Shades of Grey, don't make it Twilight fan fiction. Come up with your own set of characters and your own storyline. So it was actually all fascinating to me. And afterwards, I went up and I asked Chris if it was all part of the game. Like, did he hire that woman and have her do that? But he said he didn't. And I totally believed him because she was really angry.
Words cannot describe her anger. You had to see it in person. It was so fascinating. And it was such a weird panel, but it was riveting to watch.
Yeah. So we headed home that night, and then tragedy struck.
Yes, I lost my tea. My best friend decided to go home at midnight after an exhausting long day, first day of con, and make a Pikachu outfit for her 3-year-old daughter to match my 9-year-old daughter, who was being Ash on Saturday. At the convention. It was a great idea, but I think she was just a bit too tired. By the time she had gone to the store, got the supplies she needed, got home and started this project, it was 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and she was just way too tired to be using a hot glue gun. That's all I have to say.
So let's just say that mistakes were made.
Freddy Krueger happened.
So we ended up going on our own Saturday. We left in what I thought was a reasonable amount of time, but it was not because the traffic was backed up around the convention center for at least 2 miles in every direction.
We did not get that awesome con parking.
We ended up parking at the Garden Walk, which is quite a walk from the convention
yes.
center. Which is fine when you're starting out the day, not so good at the end of the day.
It wasn't so fine at the start of the day either.
I didn't find it a problem because I've walked some really long walks at Comic-Con, and I don't think anything at WonderCon
I know.
is nothing.
I kept trying to
anything
tell
compared
myself
Comic-Con.
that, but it just isn't WonderCon. The thing with the walk to WonderCon, and I have to take credit for this because you all usually are parked somewhere, while Teresa and I hike the 3 miles to get lunch that we've left in our car and 3 miles back to feed you all, is that there is so many things to see along the way to the car. No matter where you're at in San Diego, no matter which direction you're walking, no matter where you've parked, there is someone standing on a corner handing you something free. There's tons of people in costumes walking around, and that just isn't the case at WonderCon. It's not big enough. There's our walk, I think I saw a homeless guy on the way to our car, and that was it. So it just isn't quite as exciting, and then the walk felt 10 times longer.
It didn't feel that long.
It did.
It was just a so long.
I need that entertainment for my walk to keep me going.
So we hit the con floor and we met a lot of really nice people and looked at booths again and again and again. Hand me that dolphin, will you? Yeah, I bought the very rare Playmates Sequest Darwin the Dolphin action figure. Listen. Isn't that adorable? At one time in the early 90s, this toy was $20 to $25. At WonderCon, it was $3.
Woo!
So that's what I bought that day.
This is an action
Big
figure. Holy
purchase.
grail. Just listen to this.
You don't have quite the same pizzazz on it.
This is $25 well spent.
Okay, we're going to get to something good
Okay,
now.
so then Rachel came across.
Yes.
We decided to venture as far back as we could, and that's where they have hidden the fan clubs. They had
Ghostbusters,
Steampunk, Jericho. I mean, I can't believe Jericho still has a fan club. People don't even know what that is. Do you know what Jericho is?
Nope.
It's an old TV show about the end of the world. That
It
wasn't
was actually really good. I watched it. 'Cause
Jericho,
it was during
haunt,
and you
right?
weren't there.
And then we ran into
The best booth.
the California Visitors
Woohoo!
from V, the
I
miniseries.
shall be one of them soon.
All right, tell us about V.
V was, in 1983, a very popular TV miniseries. They also made a movie off of it. They tried to do a reboot a few years back, and as many people that bag on it. I was just so excited to have V back in my life that I actually enjoyed it very much and was sad when it got cut. I will not stop trying to bring V back. There has to be a fan base out there. There is a fan base out there, and we need to bond. We need to form just like this California Visitors did and get the word out.
So they were excited because now they have 2 members of the California Visitors. Rachel becomes the second member.
They're a very big organization. You should go on and check them out. Facebook.com/California Visitors.
CA Visitors.
Thank you. I'm not good with that stuff. Check them out. There's all over in different states. Every state has their own section, and they wear the cool, legit uniform, just like from the movie. And they play aliens and get to be lizards. And
They were giving out free plastic rats.
and that's what I want to do. It's all I live for.
It's what I live for.
Yes, Matt. Matt is the guy that was running the booth. He's recently added me on Facebook. Got to give him a little shout out. He's an awesome guy, and
Huge shout out.
I can just tell he has the same passion about it, and I'm just so excited to learn more and be part of it.
I hate to bash on the remake.
You will not bash on anything, V.
The remake. It ended on a cliffhanger. You don't end it on a cliffhanger.
Because it should have continued. That's why.
Why was it canceled? I had to know.
I don't know.
Low ratings. It was
because
canceled
I
because of-
watched. Didn't you watch? We all watched.
Yeah, I did.
And the
And
hot chick with the short hair.
the lizard
wasn't
man
Diana, but
didn't
she was
make
hot.
sense. The big reveal was he peeled the guy's face off, and it looked like the old series. It was full makeup.
Yeah, no, they did an awesome job. I think they did an awesome job.
But then the final Rust episode, they decided to sew the lizard because they have to. They're gonna get canceled, and it didn't look anything like V. It was just like a giant crocodile.
Again, anything to bring V back into the spotlight is all that I'm about. I don't understand how sci-fi conventions cannot embrace this.
It's such an
why it's
original
not
good
bigger
idea.
than it is. I mean, I don't get Star Trek. I don't get it. V. It's all about V. There is no better sci-fi.
I am surprised they haven't tried.
You have to agree on that, Jeff. You were a V fan,
I
right?
agree on it. We're going to do a whole episode on V. I'm holding
For
back
my
all of my.
birthday.
I'm holding back all of my V information.
Okay, all right. I guess I should hold back.
All right. I also I spent $5 on a T-shirt to support the Hollywood Sci-Fi Museum. They're hoping to open this up in Hollywood next year with a lot of movie cars, robots. Both the classic and next generation bridge, and the shirt's cool because on the back it says "Shut Up, Wesley," and that's at HollywoodSci-Fi.com. What else did we do? Okay, you went back to Elsa's Creations
Again, to pick up dresses. Can I give that woman a shout out? Teresa picked up some fabric that she had liked that the woman had already sold all the dresses in. And she went home after her first night of working a full day of WonderCon, this woman, and stayed up till 3 a.m. to make Teresa these dresses and get them back to us the next day. She's an amazing woman. I highly recommend shopping with her. Frankenstein's, Elsa's Creations.
The boys and I walked over to Wonk Shop, which was around the corner, and saw the unbelievably cool hand and carbonite mini fridge.
That was cool.
It was really cool, and it's actually really cheap because it's a real-looking fridge. Okay.
Yeah, it was like $150. I could see Austin having it in his little apartment.
As cool as it was, I think I liked the rugs better. They had amazing rugs.
Hand and carbonite rug, Millennium Falcon rug.
Oh, and the chewy one was so furry and soft.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. So that's wonkshop.com. What else did we do? This was fun. We kept circling the autograph section because we like looking at Lou Ferrigno. And also Richard Hatch was there, not from Survivor, the one from Battlestar Galactica. The guy who played Boomer was there. The guy who played Cal, the woman who played Kat from the updated Galactica was there. They had
Land of the Lost cast.
Land of the Lost was there.
Land of the Lost
Holly
cast,
and Chaka and Will.
Yep.
They had a whole aisle devoted to the Superman actors. They had Margot Kidder. They had Mark McClure. Now, Mark McClure, when we walked by, was cleaning up. And he was Marty's brother Dave in Back to the Future. So I just started talking to him. And before I knew it, he had signed a beautiful Superman poster and handed it to me free of charge.
Yeah, well, actually, we had started to walk away, and then he saw, family, come back, come back.
Yeah. And then he gave me a flyer for the Back to the Future cruise that he's going on because, he's Marty's brother. BTTFcruise.com. They're going to do this in November. I've looked this up. It's about $2,000 a person. Rates begin at $1,200 per person, double occupancy. That's for a little closet. But I would love to go on the Back to the Future cruise.
I think Monique is going.
They're going to have a Enchantment Under the Sea dance. They're going to have celebrities and games and all kinds of stuff. But that just sounds like really cool. And it's the first time they've done that. All proceeds go to benefit the Michael J. Fox, Team Fox, Parkinson Foundation. So Mark McClure, a really cool guy, always wears a suit to the office, and he was great. And then we turned the corner, and there she was, Marilyn.
Yay!
Veronica from Clerks.
I'm bowing down, but you just can't see that because that's my joke with her. We've seen her at every convention we've ever gone to. For how many years now?
Oh, years.
Years. And the very first time I met her, I was in total awe of her because that's my favorite character in Clerks. And I did the whole typical, like when you bow down to someone, I'm not worthy. And she thought it was cute. And then the next time I saw her at a convention, I did it again. And then by the fourth or fifth time, she finally was like, that's the same girl that always does it to me. So it became my thing. And she actually told me this time, I never forget you because the second you do your bow, I know it's you. And I'm like, see, I knew there was a reason I did that. She's very friendly. She's very proud of all the work she's done and her claim to Clerks. She's very proud of that. And she thankfully offers something new because you can only get her picture and autograph so many times. So this time she is now doing where you can pay $10, which I think is beyond reasonable. And she will leave a voicemail message on your phone. So if you call my phone, she came up with a cute little clever thing right on the spot to say. I absolutely love it. I will never change it. You'll get Veronica as long as you call me. It's a great message. And I will continue to bow every time I see her at every future con.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. So, and I think someone told me that a lot of celebrities are offering that now. Since everybody has a phone with them, it's an easy $10, and they don't have to give you any merchandise that way. Because pictures cost money. You know, but if they've got a distinctive voice, and she certainly does,
I think
then
the only thing that would ever change that phone message is if I walked up to a table and Mark Singer was offering it. I might have to go, okay.
But his voice isn't as distinctive as hers.
I don't care.
It
It's
wouldn't
Mark
come
Singer.
across.
It would
You
come
know,
across.
Hi, I'm Mark Singer. You've reached the phone of Rachel Tucker. Leave a message. VVV. Or what, I don't know, right?
Or Diana, can you imagine Jane? She'd be like, I don't know, saying, I'm not a good writer at the top of my head, but no, I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah, so we'll, as a favor to the listeners, here we go. This is Jeff Tucker, the voice of 91 Reasons. The person you're trying to call is not available right now. Please leave a message after the beep. There you go. That's free.
Oh, that's free.
Didn't charge a dime for that.
I'm sure that's going to be on phones everywhere.
I know, at least like two.
Yeah.
At least two. Okay, so let's close out Saturday. It was a very busy day. We did a lot of shopping. We looked at a lot of things. We picked up flyers and met people.
We walked and walked
We had dinner.
and walked
Is that it?
and walked.
Saturday night was closed out by, do you remember?
The West, right?
Dinner with the West. Talk about that.
Elizabeth and CW, who are amazing people and one of my dearest friends. We're at the convention the same day, and we decided to meet up at the end of the day to go out to dinner, the whole family with them, which we don't get to do very often. So it was a total highlight of my Saturday con day. Thank you, Elizabeth, CW. Love you guys.
We went to Buco de Beppo, which was loud and boisterous
And yummy.
and fun, and some of the best food I've had in a long time. Oh my God.
I still can't believe the Pope room. They have a whole room dedicated to the Pope with a animatronic Pope that spins around the table.
As you eat. That was a special Easter table. You'd be special to get that table.
Yeah,
You'd
and
actually be
we're
Catholic.
at Buco de Beppo, which has got gourmet food and awesome. They don't have chicken strips. I was hoping for some gourmet chicken strips.
Hey, they'd be the gourmetest chicken strips on the market.
Gourmetest?
Yes.
Gourmetest
I'm
chicken
inventing
strips.
that word just so it can be used with chicken strips.
That's only to be used with chicken strips. Right?
All right, are we ready? Are we ready for Sunday?
Sunday.
Yeah, Easter Sunday.
So Sunday was
Easter.
Easter. We got up bright and early. We got down there in time to get fantastic
Good parking.
Yes, fantastic
Best
parking.
Pays to get up early. Early bird wins.
And it was interesting because we were there so early. We had at least an hour before the con floor opened.
Mm-hmm.
So we did two things. First, we saw 3 women in their underwear.
Yes. Underoos.
Go ahead, talk about that.
They pretty much bought underoos. You know what they're like. And, like Walmart, you can still buy them where you look like Wonder Woman or you look like Harley Quinn or in Supergirl. And it's basically a thin pair of panties and a tank top. And that's all they were wearing.
And they were very popular since there was nothing else to look at there.
Very popular. They had a total paparazzi attack them. And they all wanted butt shots. And those girls didn't mind giving them. They bent over and said hello to every picture.
Yeah, that was...
I took a front picture, which can be seen on Facebook. The mom and me, because they were just so young, just could not do the butt shot. But, more power to them. They rocked it, and I'm sure they had a great time.
Yeah, that was interesting. The other thing that happened was I ran into Sean Marshall, the host of a podcast called Parks and Cons. He's a big supporter of 91 Reasons.
Nice guy.
Very nice guy. And guess what I did? I did an impromptu interview with Sean Marshall, and we're going to play that right now. Take it away, me. All right, we're in the lobby. It's WonderCon, Easter Sunday. Nothing is open yet. We're standing around until security tells us to get the hell out. And I'm here with Sean Marshall from Parks and Cons. It's a podcast crossover.
It's good to be here. It's good to see you guys. We haven't seen you, and I know you've been all over the floor. And we're just telling off the air, we've not seen you anywhere till here. So we're stalking the same entrance here.
That's right. Well, it takes 2 days of a learning curve to realize to get here early to get good parking so you can get in early, and that way you don't get mobbed until at least 15, 20 minutes after it opens.
Right. Yeah, and it's the entrances, have been so crowded, and obviously you guys go to conventions all the time. Everybody smashes into B, so where we're standing will be nice because we could just fade into C and D and all of that. So.
Yeah, we learned coming in this door, don't go to Artist Alley, go farther down because everybody goes into Artist Alley, and you find yourself pushing and shoving to look at art that in a regular con would be nearly empty. So whoever thought of this really did a nice service to the artists of Artist Alley, who are usually tucked in the back somewhere.
Right.
But instead, because of the configuration, are pretty close to the front.
Totally, yeah. And coming into it, I knew it was a good year for their Artist Alley, but then it's actually their biggest year ever of Artist Alley, so it makes sense that they really wanted to kind of make that a focus. And they obviously didn't have as much of the Hollywood movie stuff, which we don't do a ton of anyway, but I know a lot of people that's their thing. And so it makes sense that they kind of made it a bit more art-centric. And it seems to be doing well. Artist Alley seems to be the most packed area of the con, from what we've seen.
So what's the coolest thing you've seen so far? Because I would say, for me, it's the Chris Gore fan fiction fight. That was so riveting, but I'll talk about that in depth on the show.
Awesome. There was scene, I was just thinking Lee Merriweather just on the floor wandering with two Catwomen, two young girls dressed in the sleek Catwoman outfit, and they were talking nails and costume and what it was like, and that was just one of those weird, surreal con moments that you don't experience in real life, to see the original Catwoman with these two. So that was really high up. The Big Hero 6 animation panel was really something. Like, they went through the entire process of like how Disney puts together an animated film, which I didn't expect that. I thought it'd be more just clips, and they showed a couple scenes that got cut out of the movie that were really cool, so that was a highlight. And then just the cosplay is always, Carmel and I, that's not our thing, but we always feel like it's kind of like Snoopy at Knott's or Mickey at Disneyland. Like, it brings so much to the floor of having those characters around for the kids or the adults to see. Like, it's just amazing.
Now, have you noticed out front, they've put the lockdown,
yeah.
So they put the kibosh by putting gates and security everywhere. You can't get near the convention center without a badge.
Yeah.
Which means that all the cosplayers who don't get badges, who usually just hover around out front, cannot do that this year.
Yeah, and the protesters are also locked on the other side. So we went out there just to take some pictures, because it's always interesting, that dynamic of like Deadpool mocking, the guy with the "you're going to hell" sign or whatever, and their interactions. So yeah, I was really surprised on Friday when we came in and saw that they were going to be closing off the area. We didn't know that it made sense, and then Saturday we really understood what it was doing and kind of liked it, that it kept the protesters out of your face and everything. So that was interesting.
Yeah, we watched a couple of guys. They looked like wrestlers yesterday, with the big Hulk says repent or you're going to go to hell banner.
Right. Yep.
And the way they were talking, I think it's just performance art. I don't think it's real.
Right.
Because they were being incendiary. They were really trying to goad people into having a fight with them. They were telling women that they should be quiet and listen to their man. They were telling everybody they were going to hell. If you try to engage them, they really turned into what I considered wrestlers.
Right.
They were one step away from, all right, Hogan, next summer. I mean, it was so silly, and I don't understand how that has anything to do with religion or faith, and has everything to do with simply just we want to have a fight out here, and we want to get on YouTube.
Right, yeah, very much a WWF or WWE for the kids, I guess, now moment. At Comic-Con last year, we saw one with the Galactus outfit on, and like the end is nigh, and he had his sign right next to them, and it's an interesting dynamic. But yeah, that turnstile thing is kind of interesting. I mean, obviously they can't do that at San Diego, but it works here.
They'd have to lock down the whole city.
Right.
Yeah, there was outside here during BlizzCon, there was a guy dressed as Diablo next to them, so they had the devil right next to the "You're Going to Hell" guys.
That's
so
classic.
That was it. So all right, we're gonna head around and. We'll listen to what is your podcast?
Parks and Cons on iTunes and Stitcher, and we just try to cover as many theme park of things and convention things as we can, and get out to them, and we try as much as possible to kind of get things in real time, and just kind of get it up and get it on to the next thing, so people that maybe can't make it can kind of try to experience it.
Right. If you want up to date information on events, you guys are the podcast to go to. If you want reviews of movies that came out 40 years ago, I'm your guy.
Yep, definitely.
So,
and we love your podcast, so it's a very good fit. No, we really love the stuff you do with this show. So I am appreciative to be on. So thank you.
You'll be on the show in the next episode. All right,
awesome.
Bye.
All right, take care.
All right, that was Sean Marshall from Parks and Cons. You should subscribe to them and listen as well, because they do the opposite of what I do. They go to a convention and they do a podcast that day and get it up that day and let you know about the con. I review movies that came out 30 years ago. So they're a little more current than I am. But it is a great show you should be listening to, so check it out. Now, Sunday at WonderCon, you have to hit the ground running because it's only open from 10:30 to 5. And those hours fly by. So we hit Artist Alley, we hit the clubs again, all the aisles, as many as we could, and we just we tried to make contact with as many people as we could. Hold on.
I went to the Homestuck meetup for a few hours, which was a lot of fun. My last chance to go there, so why not?
And you not being around was fun for us as well.
Yeah, that was the one little break that all 3 kids went to something and let us have a few moments alone on the floor. It was nice.
Okay, so I made a mega purchase the previous day on Saturday. For me, mega purchase. A very talented artist named Sam Carter, samcarterart.com. He does pop culture pictures. Think the Hitchhiking Ghosts from the Haunted Mansion, but they're the Ghostbusters. Really fun stuff. He had a beautiful Lydia drawing from Beetlejuice. She looks like she's a tattoo pinup girl. On the banner that's swirling around, it says, "We've come for your daughter, Chuck," and the Beetlejuice snake, not the sandworm, but the snake is there. And I went up to the booth and was like, I want that picture, because I thought it was a $20 print. Turned out it was an original, which he told me cost $50. So I thought about it for a second and said, I'll take it, $50. So then he pulled it aside and realized that it was actually priced at $85. And he hemmed and hawed, and I was okay with it. I said, look, dude, I can't give you $85 for it. I'm not going to hold you to the $50 price. People make mistakes. If you can't let it go for that, I totally understand. Now, he saw how much I wanted it, so he sold it to me for $50, which, good price. It's a beautiful piece. I cannot wait to get it into a frame. So that being said, Sunday morning, I took him a signed copy of The Sixth Key, my book, and gave it to him. And, it just sort of made this little, networking thing. It was really cool. Art for art, and everybody wins. That being said, he is part of an upcoming art gallery called Time After Time at the Popzilla Gallery in Fullerton. It's going to be on Saturday, May 9th. This year. I don't have a time on it. I'm sure it's probably 7:30 or 8 o'clock. He might have even said it was later. But I would just look up Popzilla Gallery and check out the upcoming Time After Time Tribute to Time Travelers art show. I will be there. I'll be doing some interviews and walking around and trying to keep my wallet safe from all of the amazing art that's Back to the Future themed. So we did that. We also... Every day of the con, we bothered the people at Super 7, right, Austin?
Yep. And begged them for more reaction figures.
Because they're the people behind the reaction line, which is my favorite line of toys right now. And we hassled them for information on the upcoming lines. This card they gave us is a whole checklist. Now, these are being distributed by Funko, but they originated with Super 7.
Is Super 7 still actually designing and making them?
I think they're involved, because it says now at super7store.com. Yeah. But they have a huge line of these figures. There are more on the way. And Rachel uncovered information about her favorite line coming up.
Which is V. Finally! I'm finally going to get my toys. I have waited my whole life. That poor misunderstood show. It didn't get toys the first time around. I got a 12-inch doll, a lizard visitor. And then about some stuff from Argentina, and that's about it. So I'm going to buy them all. I'm going to buy doubles. I'm going to keep them on the wall in my case, and I'm going to open them and play with them, and I'm going to be a very happy girl. And I might just do it while I'm sitting in my visitor outfit.
I wonder how many V customs have been created over the years due to a lack of action figures.
Well, yeah, a lot. How many guns, how many props, how many shuttles.
How many glasses. They never made all this stuff.
Well, there have been a lot of visitor custom figures simply because... there's one shot in the miniseries of a kid playing with the toys that were supposed to come out. So that ignited the imagination of people who wanted these toys. So
and Plaid Stallion has pictures of what the line was supposed to look like that never came out. So depressing.
Considering the accent all started from them making the alien figures that were never made that everyone dreamed of having, I think it follows the tradition that they remake these V figures that we never saw on the market.
I'm a little bummed that the action doesn't do vehicles. I won't get my shuttle, but I'm not going to complain.
They are doing a first one.
Alien playset.
They did an Alien playset.
Right, they did do an Alien playset.
And they are coming out with the Jaws sock, which is the first deluxe figure.
And I'm buying that too. Very big Jaws fan.
So if the Jaws sock sells and the Alien playset sells, I wouldn't see why they wouldn't make more.
I really think the Alien's going to do well.
And who's the star of Jaws?
Richard Dreyfuss.
Richard Dreyfuss.
He does the worst impression of him ever. Don't even go there.
This is Richard
Dreyfuss.
Dreyfuss.
Scare the people, Jeff.
You're listening to 91 Reasons.
Jeff
Richard
can't
Dreyfuss.
sing, and he can't do Richard Dreyfuss.
It's Richard Dreyfuss.
He's a comedian. He's a great actor. A hell of a writer. I will give my husband props, but he cannot sing. And he cannot do Richard Dreyfuss.
All right, you be the judge, folks. Richard Dreyfuss from The Goodbye Girl. I don't like the panties drying on the rod.
See what I mean? Do you want to hear him sing next?
There you go.
Cool.
Okay, so we ran into a really funny guy in the middle of the con. He was a tall guy wearing a coat. He had a goatee or a Van Dyke. He had a top hat. And I asked to take his picture with him. And he kind of looked like, why?
Because he wasn't an actual character.
It wasn't a character. So I had to explain that he looked just like the guy, Mr. Ree, on the cover of my novel, The Sixth Key. And when I brought it up on my phone, even he goes, hey, it's me on the cover of the book. So
yeah, even his wife was tripping out.
She
gave us their card so
really
that we could contact them for future use of Mr. Ree if we'd like to at a future book signing.
Yeah, so their business is royalredvelvetcupcakes.com. You can order weddings, parties, meetings, luncheons, cupcakes, if you need cupcakes.
Or if you need a stand-in, Mr. Ree, he works for that too.
Yeah, he'd do that too.
Yeah.
I ran into Victoria Atlas. She's a cosplayer just starting out. How do you know she's just starting out? Her business card is a playing card that is written on with Sharpie. So God bless her.
She's cute. It's clever. She tried.
She's just starting out. You can see her on Facebook at Victoria Atlas Cosplay. And the Victoria has two I's at the end. So VICTORIIA Atlas Cosplay. She only had a handful of likes, so go like her page so that she can wear more spandex outfits, because here at 91 Reasons, we support that wholeheartedly. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I just thought if we're giving out cosplay shout-outs, we should give them to our friends. I mean,
go ahead.
The girl is wonderful, but she's a stranger. Jillian is my favorite cosplayer, and she's a dear friend. And how can I give her a shout-out? I don't know her handle.
Jillian Cosplay, I think is her
name. Is it Jillian Cosplay? She's on Facebook. If you're on my Facebook, make sure you look her up.
Jillian with a J.
And speaking of cosplay,
she never disappoints in her outfits.
Well, I talk about what she did Sunday.
She was Reagan from The Exorcist on Easter Day, even after being advised by many people that it might be in poor taste and a little crazy to do for Easter Day. She's like, people need humor, get over it, and she rocked it, and she rocked it really well. It's very impossible for someone so very creepy, gory to look beautiful, but Jillian managed to pull it off.
And I painted myself gray for cosplay.
And Austin was gray.
Yes, he did. So we also went to Artist Alley, and I met an artist named Scott Blair. He's at Scott Blair Art. He does, again, pop culture pictures that are, he had some really nice 5x7s maybe.
Yeah.
And I bought a couple of those, Harley Quinn.
And its prices were great. Those were like $5 a piece.
Harley Quinn, Slave Leia, very nice art.
Yeah, I really liked his art too.
We ran into Geek Outlaw. That's the guy who dresses in a combination of Ghostbusters and cowboy. You should be all about that, Rachel.
I'm all about him. He's a very good-looking guy. I'll give him that.
His name is Hayden. It's a play on Geek Out. He's a geeks out, but he's the Geek Outlaw.
Got it.
And he does a podcast that I listen to. I just did a Ghostbusters episode, and he's going to listen to it and give me a plug on his show, which is very nice. We also ran into the entire gang from Scare LA.
Yay, Scare LA!
Go to scarela.com. It's coming up August 8th and 9th, 2015 at the Pasadena Convention Center. It's a brand new place. It's bigger.
Better.
It's year 3, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
This convention does not disappoint you. You don't even have to be into horror. It's just, I don't know, something about the whole feel and the mood and the people. You will not find a better group of people. It's my favorite convention by far. I do like monsters and gory stuff, so of course that probably plays to why I love it so much. But if you're missing out on this convention, you are truly missing out.
I would say that it kind of helps to be a horror fan to go
Well,
to this con.
maybe
because
a little bit.
Everything is horror related. They have haunted houses on site
It's
to walk
so
through.
awesome.
They have food trucks where the prices are really scary. I'm not sure what'll happen with the Pasadena. Isn't there a mall across the street with a food court? That might be a good option.
Been to that convention
We used to go to Toyrific shows there. Yeah.
Time. I don't know. But I'm excited that it's bigger and that they just keep moving up and getting more popular. I want them to do very well. I think they deserve it. There's, not a real, there's Monsterpalooza, which is another, similar convention, but it's all about Scare LA.
You really like this con, don't you?
I love this con. August can't come soon enough.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're looking forward. We'll be there both days at Scare LA.
Yeah, good luck keeping me away.
One of the interesting things that we ran into in the Artist Alley section was these are artists where they have their own signature style. And a lot of them have their own signature characters and things that they draw that are truly their own. But the bread and butter and how they make money is they draw characters that you already know, that they don't own the rights to. So they draw Iron Man. They draw Deadpool. They draw everything from Star Wars. They draw every female superhero you can imagine. They draw every superhero dressed up as a minion or a minion dressed as a superhero, however you want to look at it. But what they don't draw is Homestuck.
Yes.
We asked a couple of artists about,
Good old hussy.
do you have any Homestuck stuff? And they actually look scared.
They look scared. Everybody talked in like a code. Oh no, we can't put that out. Oh, fear. Fear is a good word. You actually saw fear in these artists' faces, or they would truly have it under the table. They would have done it because they know there's a demand for it, and then you would have to it's like you're buying out of a trunk and you're doing some kind of shenanigans. You have to go up to the artist and say, "Got any Homestuck?" Wink, wink. Yeah, and then they pull it out quietly and say, "This is what I got. Don't tell anyone." There's a fear for them because Hussey won't have it. He doesn't want his stuff out. I don't get it. His fans want it. I don't understand why he would, why he'd be that way with his product. I don't get it.
I don't get how they can use Batman, but they can't use Vriska. It seems so silly to me.
Yeah.
Question. When Hussey's wife finds people selling this stuff, what does he do to them to make them so terrified?
She goes and she gets the convention people. They walk over and they tell this is my copyright. Either they stop selling or you throw them out.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to lose their table.
Okay.
And that's really bizarre to me.
There was one person selling Homestuck buttons and decals.
Well, we have this person here that we met.
Now, this person may or may not have had Homestuck stuff. I can't be for certain.
We can't say. We don't want to get anyone in any
but
trouble here.
What she did have was very nice stuff.
She did. Great stuff.
And her name is V Nguyen, V-Y, and Nguyen. You can get her on Tumblr at VYVYVY, or you can get her at awesomestuff.storenvy.com. And she has a real delicate, feminine way of drawing. It's a lot of stuff. She even had Marty McFly.
All your favorite characters. She's all over the place. She'll draw anyone, just except maybe not the Homestuck, unless you know.
But if she did draw Homestuck, she would give it to you for free.
Yes, she did.
So if she were to do that, we would say thanks. But she probably didn't do that.
But if she did do it,
right,
that'd be really cool of her.
So then we walked the floor a bunch more. And we ended up at Loot Crate for a while. Loot Crate was having a raffle. And though we did not win the raffle, the guy running the booth walked over and said, "You win anyways!" And he gave us a stack of Doctor Who toys and a set of Deadpool socks.
They were really giving. Even throughout the day, it was, they were giving stuff out. You walk by and they're like, "Oh, you're an adult. Have a shot glass." They were just great about giveaways.
They didn't want to go home with anything.
No, and the manager had said that. She said, "I am not packing this all up." So when we went by the last hour, what'd they do? They took
everything was
all
on
the
sale.
pop vinyls down to $4.
Pop vinyls were $8
and it was a
for
mad
two.
rush. There was one Howard Duck left on the shelf. One, and I reached for it and got my little hand in there because I'm so short. Pulled it out and made it. I got my Howard.
They do call him Howard the Duck. There ain't no way to contain him.
Yeah.
I remember it was insane. I kept like wanting to and saying, "Quick, is there any pop vinyls? I'm so small and short, I could sneak through and grab one." Because there were
It really was a mad rush.
There were
Hands
dealers
everywhere.
These are the dealers that had been making a fortune off selling them for
Yeah, 'cause they were just gonna go resell 'em.
and getting them off wholesale from Funko.
Can you imagine if there was V pop vinyl, a cute little Diana and a visitor lizard?
If they do,
So cute.
if there really is reaction coming, it means they have the full license to do that.
Oh, I dare to dream.
Like,
Dare
for
to
example, they make the John Hughes pop vinyl. They can make John Hughes reaction figures.
Yeah.
We did ask about
We did
that.
ask. We said we wanted Breakfast Club. We told the reaction people everything we wanted to come out. So
Labyrinth, come on. Where's my David Bowie vintage kind
yeah,
of figure?
Bowie needs his Bowie.
But
So-
there were like people with like 8 pop vinyls stacked up high carrying
Yeah,
it.
you know they were reselling.
Oh yeah, they didn't even care what character
No,
it was.
they were just grabbing.
Is this the new Beanie Babies?
It kind of is. I mean, they make everybody. There's no one they don't make. It's become this huge, crazy mania all of a sudden. And I think they're cute, so I'm all about it. I could jump on that mania in a heartbeat if my husband didn't, he hates them. I don't know why. He doesn't think they're cute. It doesn't do what it does for me. So I'm trying to stay away from them and not get on that little fad.
I just find it fascinating that we live in an age where lasers and printers and sculptors can make lifelike images of anybody, and yet we choose these rudimentary, almost happy face versions of our characters that if you squint, you can sort of tell who they are. The 16 Candles ones, unless you have the entire set, they just look like people.
But a lot of them are just cute. Some of them look cute. It's a girl thing. I think it's a girl thing.
I like them.
I would be interested in how many people collect them. I bet it's more women than anyone.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Or kids, because it's a cute line. There's no doubt.
Yeah, no.
But they bring out V. I'm on it.
They bring out V. They bring out Mark Singer. I'm all over it.
I'm all over it.
Funko literally gets every license, whether it's that random 80s film, like John Hughes to Big Trouble in Little Chinatown, or if it's something for a kid's show like Yo Gabba Gabba, or if it's something really nits like Bravest Warriors. They literally have everything for every market. Yeah. Sesame Street, Muppets, The Walketeer.
How long are they going to hold on to those Magic the Gathering pop vinyls?
They fully admitted that line was a flop. That's Funko's only license they had to clearance out that badly. Look, sometimes they go so far as to being nits it doesn't work. They have every license except Homestuck.
Yeah. Well, Hussey's not going to let them do it, but you know what? That would actually look really cute. I could see that.
The styles
it would work
well.
for him.
Yeah, it's too mainstream for him.
Oh, well, he needs to get with it and go mainstream.
But they could have. Do they have strawberry shortcake? That seems like a natural.
Oh, that would be so cute. I'd have to have those.
Or if they did the pop vinyl aesthetic vehicles, Snowspeeder, AT-AT, in that
they have the
pudgy
DeLorean,
style.
Yeah, they do have the
Yeah,
DeLorean.
so they
and the
need to do
Ghostbuster Ecto. They
Yeah.
have that too.
And for some reason, the Breaking Bad van and Scarface's car. Like, I don't.
It's everything
Oh my
they
God,
can
can you
get.
imagine a little V shuttle? That would be so cute.
the greatest, yeah.
That would be cute.
All right, any last words?
V!
We saw some more amazing cosplays throughout the week. Some were a little bewildering. There were quite a few Spider-Gwens, including Jillian.
Yeah, she did that.
There
too.
was a woman in a green unitard who was a clown.
Yeah, I didn't really get that one.
Not sure about that one.
But
There was a woman in red rubber who was I think, Evangelion. Is that?
I don't know if that's who she was
Yeah,
trying to do. Was
Evangeline.
it?
Yeah. It's an anime.
There was a lot of really cool Homestuck cosplay. You saw a lot of it at the meetup, right?
Oh, I saw them all. We'll talk about that on the Homestuck episode. Anything else?
Anything else, anyone?
It is becoming San Diego. I highly recommend you go.
I'm just sad that it's a whole year away again.
And where's it going to be?
It is moving to LA for a year. Anaheim will be under construction and not able to house WonderCon next year. And we're hoping they're only signing a 1-year lease, so we're hoping it goes back to Anaheim. There is rumors of it leaving completely to go far away, but we're not going to listen to those rumors. It's going to go back to Anaheim, and we'll deal with the year that it's at LA.
They've said Comic-Con is moving to Las Vegas for about 5 years now. Do you really
I'd
think
be okay with
WonderCon's
that.
moving? Well, that's never going to happen. They keep saying it and saying it and saying it, but San Diego needs that con more than anything.
Oh yeah, Comic-Con. I don't know.
Well, we're on the verge of con season. This kicked it off well for us. Week after next, we'll be at Star Wars Celebration, the same place. To see what it's like. I'm not sure what an entire con of Star Wars will look like at this point.
If anyone's going on Friday, that's the day our family will be there. Look for us. Say hi.
I know you're excited to see all of the Episode 7 trailer cosplay, especially that little astromech unit you like.
Oh, I think it's great. I'm hoping there's a lot of Darth Maul there.
It's the day before my birthday, so it'll be extra celebration.
You heard Jake Lloyd's going, right? Jake Lloyd's going to Celebration.
Really?
He's going to be taking tickets.
Yeah.
Oh, he groaned. Richard Dreyfuss may go. The Force Awakens.
So yeah.
Funko revealed an entire wave of Star Wars pop vinyl exclusive to Celebration. An exclusive astromech, an exclusive protocol droid. Will you be getting any of those?
That probably just means coloring. No, that doesn't do anything.
I'm just
for me.
curious how much other stuff will be there besides Star Wars, and if anyone will be daring to wear costumes outside of Star Wars, or if we're going to see a lot of mismatched,
No, you're going to
Little
see
Mermaid with the lightsaber. And
that's
that
what
kind
you're
of
going to see. A lot of Star Wars.
Like
Disney.
Austin over here, who's going to do a Jedi Homestuck guy, right?
Specifically Little Mermaid, because if there's one thing I learned from this con, Little Mermaid might be the most popular Disney license right now. There's more Little Mermaid than Elsa at this con.
Little Mermaid was very popular, but
hey, I give you huge props to the girl who committed fully and had the mermaid tail that she could not walk anywhere. She planted herself and was on a rolling platform. Yes, that is commitment.
And I did miss Tracy Lords.
Tracy Lords, good heavens.
I miss Tracy Hines, who was known
what the heck just
as
happened
the
there?
Hipster mermaid. Well, I met Tracy Lords at Comic-Con, but that's a whole nother event.
Yeah.
Tracy Hines is a hipster mermaid, and it just wasn't the same at a convention without her, but she's recovering from back issues, so that's why she wasn't there.
I took some great pictures. Notable, honorable mentions go, there was a guy in a wheelchair dressed as the Joker. I thought he was just great.
Yeah, he was great.
There was a guy dressed as the mime Joker from 1989 Batman, along with the Batman. He normally has a guy following him around with a boombox playing Party Man, so he was mixing things up a little bit. The Walking Dead crew was there.
Oh, they looked amazing.
They looked like they stepped out of the TV
Each
show.
Each character looked truly like the character on the show. It's so cool.
Rufio.
Rufio is always there, and he is awesome.
We saw Rufio. I thought the girl that we met dressed as Psylocke. Do you remember her? She was fantastic.
I remember her.
We had to wait a long time to get her picture because she was talking to some dude. Do you remember that girl? I have a picture of her.
I'm sure it was some spandex thing that you were into.
Yeah.
I remember.
What was her name? Rosanna Roche?
Yes. Rocha.
Rocha.
How do you say her name?
I don't know.
I don't know either, but she was hot.
I bought some of her artwork. I thought it was very
She had
nice.
great artwork.
And she was dressed as Red Sonja, and she was really friendly, overly friendly. I thought.
I think she was just excited that it was a married couple at her table, not a regular average pervy guy.
I really like your
pictures.
This
one had a woman to calm her pervy man down, and I think that helped her. So
I still bought her pictures.
You still bought her pictures.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do,
pictures.
Austin? All right, let's wrap it up, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back. More episodes, and then our next big one like this will be a review of Star Wars Celebration. Yay! Oh my God. I am the voice of 91 Reasons. I am Jeff Tucker. Silence from the other people on the show.
I'm Austin.
I'm Rachel, but I just go by Mom.
I'm Luna.
And together we are 91 Reasons.
Thanks for listening to 91 Reasons. Please subscribe and leave a review on iTunes. Find us on Facebook. Is anyone even still listening?
Total carnage! I love